In today's video, we're going to talk about how to make these delicious, flaky, fragrant, aromatic pancakes, and they're also kind of crispy on the outside. First of all, I want to thank Power Center for this fantastic opportunity for me to show you the recipe of my family and how they make scallion pancakes. If you're going to an Asian grocery store and the flour is labeled in low gluten, medium gluten, and high gluten, you're probably gonna look for the medium one as the all-purpose flour. That's just one tip. And for substitution, you can use whole wheat flour, you can use all types of wheat flour for this recipe, but I wouldn't recommend anything that's not wheat flour, like almond flour or corn. It's probably not going to work for the recipe just because there's too much, it's starchy. And next, we're going to talk about the prep time. If you made pizza dough from scratch, you know that it takes a lot of patience actually, because you have to allow the flour to kind of mingle with the water, and so the gluten can develop over time. Fortunately, there's no yeast, so you really don't need to wait like 24 hours for a dough to form, but it is a flour dough, so you probably need to let the dough rest because you want the dough to be the most relaxed. If you do a lot of things, if you work with the dough, if you knead it too much, it's going to get really tough, and that is why when you're making this recipe, you could reach the point where you feel like, oh, the dough is really hard to work with. And that is the time for you to just let it relax over the counter, and it's going to be fine. That being said, you probably need to give yourself about 3 hours if you're making the recipe for the first time, from start to finish, and maybe even longer. But this is definitely a very easy recipe that you can follow, and you will probably make delicious scallion pancakes yourself on the first try. First, we have measured 400 grams of all-purpose flour, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. And then I'm gonna use a whisk to make sure that it's well combined. Next, it's a very important step that I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of boiling water and 2/3 room temperature water. Come on. Now we're finished with our dough and the first stage dough. So you should see the bowl to be kind of clean and smooth. There shouldn't be any residue flour left. Now you should let it rest, cover under a damp towel, and let it rest for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, whoa, the dough is still a little bit warm. You're gonna remove the damp towel. This is how the dough looks like right now. We're going to add a tablespoon of canola oil. If you want to measure it, it's about 12 grams. I'll list the measurements down below. So you're gonna add it on top of the dough, and then you're gonna start kneading again. After you're done kneading the dough, we're going to take a baking sheet, or you can also just use a flat bottom pan with a little bit of depth, because you're going to drizzle some oil on top of it. I'm using a brush. So make sure the surface is covered in canola oil. Okay. And then set aside for now. Now let's see the dough. It's smooth, it's nice and smooth, it has a nice shine. And we're going to weigh the dough. And so we can divide it up in 6 portions. Take it up for a bit. So the dough is about 600 grams. So I'm going to divide it up into 6 pieces. Each will weigh about 100 grams. And the next step, we're going to roll out the dough. I'm going to roll out by first make it into a cylinder shape, and then just using, you can use your hand, it's totally fine if you use hand, and just kind of gently press it down. And then we're gonna place it on the oily tray. More oil on top so it's nice and sealed. Okay, the next one. And so now you have all the dough divided up, rolled out, they're resting nicely, sealed in canola oil. If you want to use other types of cooking oil, it's totally fine. And you probably want the dough to be sitting over the counter for about 2 hours. So 2 hours later, we're going to come back and we're gonna finish the process. Pour the very hot oil on top. And let it burn. It smells amazing here. And check for the texture. This is probably a little bit too thin. So I'm going to add more flour. I'm doing that like I'm adding like a tablespoon. Try to see. Here is the dough. So while it rested, it's relaxed, and now let's roll out the dough from top. It's really thin. And then let's add the sauce. If you really love scallion, you can drizzle more freshly cut scallion top, and let's roll it up. First, stretch the bottom of it. It can help you easily roll up the dough. Be careful that some scallion oil might escape. You also want to press it as you go because air bubbles. And once you're at the very last fold, stretch out, kind of seal the end. And put this end back. And there we go. Gently seal. Now let it rest again. Now after the dough has been rested, we're going to roll out the dough again, flatten into a pancake shape. Try to make it round as possible, and also as thin as possible. If making the pancake round is not happening, then it's okay, you know. It's okay. It's all good. And then I'm gonna show you a trick how to move this very thin pancake to your hot pan. This is the pie trick that I learned. Roll it up with the rolling pin. And there we go. And now, very gently let go of the pancake. And now we're going to cook the scallion pancake until both sides are golden brown. And it's probably gonna take about 5 minutes. You can kind of see that it's bubbling all over. You may also cook them or like bake them in the oven. I think that's definitely possible. When you see it's kind of start forming bubbles, I think it's time to flip. Not that easily. What you can also do if you want to trap the moisture is to put a tin foil on top. Oh god, it's hot. Now let's see, kind of bubbly and airy, and then let's try the other side. The other side also like a couple minutes. It doesn't need to be cooked for too long. Let's try the first piece, shall we? I'm gonna pull this apart. See the little layers, it's really flaky. Crispy on the outside, but the inside it's really soft actually. It's got the really nice scallion aroma going on. It's so delicious. And today we have my husband Tom to try the scallion pancakes that I just made.
Okay.
How's the texture?
Good, crispy, but kind of soft in the middle. A lot of layers.
Nice. What do you think of the taste? Is it good? Would you eat it every day?
I eat it most days. It's a good scallion flavor, not overwhelming. Subtle, but definitely there. It's good.
Yeah, would you choose, would you like to get my or buy from restaurants?
These are better.
Your my is better. Okay, that's a good verdict. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and if you're looking for more videos, please subscribe to Part Center. And if you have other recipes that you want to learn, please comment down below and follow us on social media. I'll see you next time. Bye.